This is NTV Tonight with Jim.
All right, in less than 90 days, the country will go into the much-anticipated poll, pitting opposition leader Raila Odinga with his competitor William Ruto. Perhaps as an indicator of the times, both leaders have surrounded themselves with a coalition they hope would carry them to victory. But Raila Odinga's strategy of building a broad church has been tested this week, as he has lost two parties who have since joined his competitors. Both MCC, led by Governor Alfred Mutua, and PAA, or PA, led by Amason Jeffa King, have left the Azimio coalition claiming ill treatment.
Azimio has become a club of a few, with the rest of us standing outside peering through the window as a few club members strategize and feast together. Case in point is a document that we signed in good faith and the many promises that were given to us. The Azimio La Umoja document that we signed was one document with a page at the end where all the parties signed. And we were assured once all the parties signed and the document has been taken to the registrar of political parties, we will be given a copy because that is our right. Today is exactly 1 month from the date we signed that document and we have not received a copy. As a party, we have also been excluded from Azimio lineups, campaign programs and funding. As a party, we have also not been shown or even allowed to discuss what our roles will be after the elections. This lack of clarity, plus the sidelining, has sent a very important message to us. Akufukuzaye akwambii toka.
Well, indeed, both of these small parties have had jitters over what they termed as Azimio not coming clean on what exactly they signed. So to remedy, they have joined the opposite side, and that is on here tonight.
Kukunja mikono ya mashati, kukunja masuruali yetu, na tukubali kuingia katika mashimo, kwenda vitongojini, kupanda milima, kuteremka mabonde, kuhakikisha kwamba tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8 tunakuchagua kama rais wetu wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, kama rais wa 5. Na tunajua kwa nguvu ya Mwenyezi Mungu utapishwa.
Well, on its part, Azimio claims, well, good riddance, as they say the two were already in negotiations with Kenya Kwanza, and they were just looking for reasons to leave.
Kama mtu anataka kutoka ama anajisikia amefinywa, kila mtu ako na uhuru na demokrasia ya kujiongelesha na kufanya vile roho yake inapenda. Kuna values ambaye baba hawezi kucompromise, awe rais ama sikuwe rais. Kama wewe unataka pesa ya kuongwa, ati ulipwe pesa fulani ndio uende usupport baba, ati Ruto amekulipa pesa fulani unataka tumrudishie, baba hana pesa kama hiyo.
Well, indeed, wild allegations after the others, the bitter row that has led to this fallout, essentially calling into question legal timelines imposed by the IEBC, but most importantly, is it is very confusing to voters. So how do we reconcile a politician who just last week said the exact opposite of what they are saying today?
Wengine wameanza kuwa kile kinawaongoza ni tumbo zao kwanza. Wakiangalia upande huu wanaona pesa zimejaa huko kwa UDA, ndio wanakimbia huko. Leo mmoja wetu hapa amekimbia huko kwa UDA, ati sijui amepewa pesa ngapi, anakimbia huko. Na wanaanza kusema wewe Mutua ndio mtu ambaye unaweza kusaidia ati Wakamba. Hata wasaidia Wakamba namna gani?
Well, it's a conundrum, but as always, I'm here to help all of us to sort these political matters. I'm joined by two insiders. If anyone knows the real goings-on, are my guests tonight. Former party members and officials, and perhaps some are friends too, former colleagues. Jubilee Vice Chair David Murathe. Karibu sana to the program.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for also removing your shades. We appreciate that. And obviously, Soy MP Caleb Kositany.
Thank you, James.
Let's start from where we should. Let's start with you, Murathe. It appears Azimio is in problems, isn't it? You have two parties that have left to the other side. Would that be a correct statement?
Of no consequence. I don't think the governor of Machakos has any following in Ukambani. I don't know what he's going to add to the UDA ticket. As for my friend Kingi, I think his issues are Giriama nationalism, and yet the Azimio game is the unity of the whole country. But when you want to zone in, he said it to me at the press conference that he wanted Kilifi to be zoned for him and for PA, Pwani African Alliance. There's no zoning in Azimio. It's a free-for-all. Everybody is free to stand. There are areas where we feel negotiated that we can cede to whoever is considered more popular, so that we don't give space to Kenya Kwisha, to Penya. All right? So I wish them well. Some of them, I spoke to Mutua yesterday. We met at the airport when he just finished joining them. And he expressed to us that he had no space in Azimio, and that we promised him nothing. And that in UDA, he was promised something.
What is that something?
If they win, that's him. He should come here and say what he was promised. That if they win, he will be something. And even if they lose, he was promised something. Maybe if they win, he'll probably get a flag, all right? And if they lose, and they qualify to have nomination slots, he could actually be nominated either to Parliament or to the Senate. But you see, in Azimio, we don't make those kind of promises, because they're just that. And I said to him, my friend, Governor, 100% of zero is zero. If I were you, I would go with the 10%, which I'm getting in Azimio, than the bird in the bush. And the bird in the bush, because, and he agrees, he admits, it's obvious, Azimio is winning. So I'm like, so why, what are you doing there? What are you going to become? He's like Musalia. Musalia goes into Kenya Kwisha, and he doesn't say that he's going to get 30% government. Do you know what that means? If UDA is going to have traction in Mount Kenya, they have to give them another 30%. That is 60. Of course, Rift Valley will demand the lion's share of the cake, which should be 40.
Right.
So where does that leave the rest of Kenya? It means the rest of Kenya is
I want to go
not in the picture.
I want to go through that, but let me get opening remarks from Kositany as well. Is it true? Is this the promises you've made, or is just this side saving face?
Well, I think the promises we have made are out there in the public. We have said, and that is why our slogan is Kenya Kwanza. It is Kenya first, positions later. So we have not made any promises on positions. We have made promises on reviving the economy. We have made promises on changing our economic model from the bottom, from the trickle down to bottom up economics. And I think that is where we are. It really doesn't matter. We have not discussed issues of positions, because we have said Kenya is in is in ICU, so we need to bring it to HDU, then take it to the ward, then release it to move. So I think they're obsessed. You can even tell from rather they mean nothing. He's bringing nothing, because to them, somebody should be bringing something to the table in order to get a position. We are not discussing positions. We have said, listen, and even if you listened to Mutua and Kingi, they both categorically stated in their own words that we have been conned, we have been lied to, we signed a document that was not given to us, we have demanded that the document be made available to us, it has not been made available, and unless there is mischief. Normally, when you sign an agreement, you sign on every page, and then you exchange documents. I take my copy, you take your copy. But in this case, they sign one document.
So whose problem is that? How could people of that caliber and status then sign a document that they don't know the contents? Explain to me what happened.
You see, James, I wasn't there, but I'm just trying to speculate.
From where you sit.
From where I sit. I think the level of dishonesty that brought this gentleman, Amason Kingi and Mutua and others to he called us Kenya Kwisha. I call them wakuzimia. Kwa sababu tayari wanazimia. You see people somebody, I think it was Moses Kuria, who tweeted and said, the last person to leave, please leave the keys at the gate to the watchman. So the level of dishonesty is so high. And in order to get these people also in, they have been threatened. You remember, don't forget that governors have been blackmailed. Governors have been told, we have a file. You have stolen this A, B, C, D. So we're going to come for you if you do not join and sing the tune of Raila. But people are getting up now and they're saying, hey, listen, 90 days to an election, do your worst. Right. I have to go where the people are. Yes. And it's about listening to the ground. It's about the right team to support.
I'm shocked.
What's
I'm shocked that he's telling us that they can give a soft landing to people who have allegations of graft. So if they are being coerced and they now all of a sudden feel they can have a soft landing, and that's why we call them Alibaba and the 40 thieves, because everybody around their leader has a case in court except my friend Caleb. And they keep saying it is targeted. And I keep asking, how come he is not in court? So kila mtu abebe msalaba wake mwenyewe. These guys are telling you that we are talking about positions and all that. This was a team that used to be called the Sky Team. You know the Sky Team. They were in the air. They were on helicopters. Sometimes, maybe not all the time, but you know them, Murkomen, Kindiki, whatever, rolling in money.
Wasn't that the Jubilee good old days? Was that the first term? You're talking about the first term?
No, we're talking about the second term, the Sky Team. And these guys were rolling in money. Now, all of a sudden, they are bottom up. They are Mamang Boga, they are hustlers. What happened? What changed? Let me tell you, my friend, because now we're in the silly season. And in the silly season, people will say and tell you anything to get your vote. But Kenyans are smarter than that. They are putting you here, they're putting me there, and they're going to make a wise decision about who they can trust, who can deliver on their promises.
Yes.
Because politicians will promise you anything.
I want to go back to that, but Murathe, tell me, what did your side of the coalition exactly sign? Because they've made these claims.
It is so ridiculous.
What did they sign?
To suggest that a senior counsel, like the former vice president, can sign a document which he has not seen, which he has not read. Mutua and Kingi actually even signed, before they signed the Azimio one, they signed a document with Jubilee, which was a coalition document. We did it at KICC. And it's out of that they then went to sign the Azimio one. Now, that document is a public document. If anybody wants to go to the Registrar of Political Parties, it is...
So what are they saying? Help me understand. What are they saying?
They are being economical with the truth. Because that is a public document. If anybody walks into the Registrar of Political Parties, it is a coalition agreement. It is in the law of Kenya. And anybody, even you, can go tomorrow to Registrar of Political Parties and see what the political agreement of Azimio states and the terms of engagement. So for somebody to come and tell you that they don't know what they signed, actually, you ask the right question, whose fault is it? I am not a lawyer, but surely, James, I am not going to put my pen on paper on something which I have not read, which I have not internalized, and if need be, I need to get a legal guy to interpret for me any aspect of that document, and particularly when it is so serious, you're committing a whole party. Unless, of course, they are saying they went as themselves, all right, but they didn't go with their people.
Okay.
And very soon, and you can take this to the bank, some of those people will be disowned by their own parties. And they will be, in fact, Gilo said yesterday, Mutua may have gone, but he has not gone with the Mukamba. Kingi actually does not own that PA, okay, the Pwani African Alliance. The real owners.
Who are the owners?
I can't say that here, but he'll be
Maybe it's Murathe
no. He'll be dethroned.
He'll be dethroned for the party.
Anytime now.
See,
Yeah.
the biggest problem I have with and it's not my problem. It's the problem that Kingi and Kalonzo and even Mutua have. They have signed a document. If this document has not been altered, if this document contains exactly what was agreed on, why not avail it? They are demanding for an argument that they signed.
I've told you
they
it's
have
there.
Not, give it to them.
Then you also can get it.
I don't want it. It's of no
Then
value to me,
advise
but
them to
make it
go
public.
to the registrar of political parties.
They have done it. They
It's
said
actually
they
a
demanded
public
for the last 1
document.
month.
It's actually a public document.
You know?
So
And you have the right of public information. Anybody who wants it can go to the registrar. It is there.
But
It is deposited.
help me. Kositany has a point. If your colleagues saying, look, we're having difficulties for whatever reason to access this document, wouldn't it have been in your best interest to say, here is the document, we know you, perhaps there are problems. Let's assume they even have internet problems. They can't download the document. Wasn't your interest to just make your partners comfortable, say, yes, it's a document, it's a public document?
I told you this is the second document they are signing. The first one, we even gave them like 3-4 days to go through before they came to sign. Some of them, they amended some of those clauses. This one, they came, they signed. It is officially deposited with the registrar of political parties. It's a public document. You have right to public information.
All right.
Even you can get it tomorrow. I wish you had told me that was the point. I would have come with it here for the public
No,
to
we don't
see.
want you to give it to us. Give it to Mutua and
They are
and
being
Pa.
disingenuous, if you ask me. They are looking for an excuse. I know they may be having issues. And I'll tell you part of Mutua's issue. And he told me this as a friend. He's a very good friend of mine. These structures which were formed in Azimio, he had no space.
Okay.
He was not in the council. He was not in the NEC. Now he's asking me, David, surely, I'm a party leader. How do you put the Minos in the council? You know, we have some people who are in that council and others in the NEC. You can't even, it is disrespectful.
And that's the
Kingi,
problem.
like I told you, was about the zoning, that he wanted Kilifi to have this Griema nationalism, and he had his own issues with ODM, because that is a perceived ODM zone. And for us, we respect some of these things. We are not even running candidates in some of those places,
Okay.
but we are supporting the Azimio candidates.
All right. Is that
The biggest problem that they are facing, and that is why they want to settle on zoning, is they're trying to look for parliamentary strength, which has eluded them because of the selfishness they had, and they were blinded by the hate and dislike for the deputy president, that they were thinking of form all these small parties. You've just had him. PA doesn't belong to Kingi. Belongs to the deep state, represented here by Murathe. He didn't say, he has not said that about Chapter. So he knows the owners of all these small parties, yeah, which they brought, which were formed by with the assistance of the state, in order to frustrate or to create a perception that we have about 40 parties supporting Raila Odinga, and on the other side is UDA alone. And that is why now they're having problems. How do we sort out this mess that we created?
Doesn't that put you in a conundrum? Now they become a problem.
No, it's not our problem. We are comfortable wherever we are. Our door is open. We are receiving the people day in, day out, and they're not coming in with exaggerated demands or even any demands that will derail our course. Okay. They're coming in and believing in the Kenya Kwanza formation.
I want you to respond, but I want to take a very short break because this is important. I know you want to make a very important point, so hang on to that point.
I will.
With all due respect.
Okay.
We take a short break. We'll be right back. Yes. All right. Welcome back, with all due respect. Now, before we take the short break, we were discussing the confusion and the questions around the coalitions and that sort of thing. The PPDT just today told Mayandelo Chap that they are still in Azimio.
That's the law.
But tell me the value of having someone who does not want to be in this marriage.
It is the law. You sign something which says you cannot get out 6 months before or 3 months after. That is not Azimio law. That is the law of the country. That is there enshrined. They passed it in Bunge, Kina Caleb. So you're telling me even that they had not read? Surely, what are we dealing with here? You're dealing with...
You need to be clear when you say they passed it. Maybe it's something that I opposed, but you guys pushed it through.
It's a collective.
Yeah.
You see?
We never, I don't remember.
When Parliament passes something, the majority have their way. The minority
have their say.
May have their say.
Right.
The law passed. All right? And for somebody of the caliber of a governor of Machakos not to understand that. And by the way, don't be shocked if within a month or two he's back to Azimio for different reasons, which we know. Na sio Kufinya. Those people of Kufinya, niye mwenyewe alisema ati somebody squeezed his hand. You remember? It's on record. In fact, I was laughing with him this morning before they went to Tala. I said, my friend, be careful. You might be finward today when you shake the hands of your principal. Because what is happening, and this is actually very deceptive on their part, they said they're going into this election as UDA. They didn't want any parties, fringe parties, but especially in Mount Kenya. They then went to bed with ANC and Fort Kenya. Now they are reaching out, the same game they are saying we are playing. Now they've reached out to PA, they've reached out to Chama, whatever. And
are you expecting any other small parties?
Of course, Kina Moses Kuria will probably go in. People like Jibebe. They're not in, they have not signed, but they will be made to sign. People like the Democratic Party. Incidentally, at the National Delegate Conference of the Democratic Party, it was announced that they are not going to form any pre-election coalition with anybody. It was a resolution of the NDC. Then what do we see the next day? We see their patron or party leader or whatever you call him signing to join Kenya Kwisha. And we are like, did he do it? And in fact, there's a case in court where the members who did and signed for that resolution are challenging that individual personal decision based on what he was promised by this. Kwanza, this Caleb is one who is the man doing those things. Don't think he's very innocent when you see him here.
Caleb, what was the value of bringing these small parties? Because it was evident from your side of the campaign. You said you're going it as UDA, which is clear and it's correct, and you're no business, creating all these coalitions. What's the value of all these small parties?
First, let me say the value that we had seen when we said we are going as UDA alone was we wanted to build we wanted to relieve the Jubilee dream, which was killed by Murathe and his team. We wanted to continue with that Jubilee dream of having one strong, unifying political party. And that is why we had initially said we are not going to form any coalitions. We wanted everybody, if possible, come into UDA. Let us all compete here and accept that there shall be one winner and we move on. But then when now the deep state decided that they were going to have a lot of briefcase parties.
You keep saying deep state. Who's deep state?
Brother here is represents them. He can tell you the other members.
Okay. I don't know. Hang on.
No, James. Let's be very clear.
When
deep state is the National Security Advisory Council. It is called NSAC. The deputy president sits on that one.
And has never been invited to
Murathe does not sit on that one. But having said that, it is true, these guys, when they were forming Jubilee, they wanted to herd us all in one basket as a vehicle for 2022. Then they said, mulikuja mukanifukuza kutoka ODM. Hamwezi mukanifukuza from Jubilee. Sasa wako wapi?
Okay.
Sio sisi. No, we didn't remove them. They walked. They left Jubilee and they went and formed another home. And we wish them well. In fact, incidentally, like you can see, we're still friends. And this is healthy. We compete. There's nothing personal. All right?
Absolutely.
It's like you Gor Mahia AFC. And after the game, shake hands.
Let me come back to,
Okay.
I was
Make
making a point. And when we saw now that there was this mushrooming of all these briefcase parties, then we decided to coin the saying that if you can't beat them, then join them. Then we said, okay, fine, let's open the window. Let also these parties come and join us. And we teamed up with big parties first, ANC and Ford Kenya. And those are substantial political parties with parliamentary representation and even Senate representation. And then after that, now we started accepting to have all these parties because we saw that maybe we would look bad when they say these guys just want to go it alone. And we said, let's not leave window for people to start spreading rumors. But coming back to Jubilee, yes, we said we are not going to be chased from Jubilee. And true, we cannibalized it. We left with everybody except the few that are left within Jubilee. And we were properly chased out. We were properly given instructions. In fact, James, and I said this before, and my good friend David here is a witness. Before we were sworn in,
when is this, 2018?
2017.
2017.
Immediately after the elections, while the court process petitioning the presidential election was still ongoing, we had a PG, in quotes. But it was not a PG, it was a monologue meeting. First, you're told when you get to State House, leave your watch and your phone in the car. Be there by 8. Meeting will start at 8, so we're there by 7:30. Sumptuous breakfast. Oh, 7-course breakfast. We were not going there for breakfast. But you sit there for 2 hours. Then the president appears, prayer, and he summarizes as the riot acts 25 minutes for a meeting that you have waited for 2 hours is over. And I remember a remark that President Uhuru made that was shocking. He said, if you do not agree with my policies, the gate of State House is open. And we left State House in a hurry because the gate was open for us.
I think my
few days later, the presidential election was nullified. The same gates that were told were open for us to get out were open for us to go in to go and plan for the re-election of the president. So those were the telltale signs that things were not the same. Things were not going to be the same.
The truth.
And you'll have a chance.
No.
Yes.
At that same meeting,
hang on.
The members of parliament were told that the president is very busy with his agenda of running the country. Anybody who has an issue should report to the deputy president. True?
That was
they
2013.
were told they go to Karen, not to bother him in state because he's dealing with matters of state. But let me come back to what he had just said about the UDA one party and then opening up. Have you noticed that caveat is only for Mount Kenya parties? They were able to bring in ANC, they were able to bring in Ford Kenya, they are now able to bring in PA, they're able to bring in Chap Chap. There is no Mount Kenya party which has been allowed in the Kenya Kwisha to enter into a coalition agreement with UDA.
Can you name the Mount Kenya parties?
There's Jibebe, there's DP, there's Chama, what is it called? You Moses? Whatever?
Yes.
Jubilee?
Yeah?
Chakas, yes.
No. Jubilee is not a Mount Kenya party.
So how do you classify the others as Mount Kenya parties?
I'm just saying...
Were the party leaders from Mount Kenya?
No, they wanted Mount Kenya is not part of the parties for which they are engaging. So,
gentlemen, I want to understand.
It is obvious.
What we need to...
There is nobody who has a party in Mount Kenya. Even Martha, by the way, wanted to be part of that One Kenya, whatever. Her party is not welcome. Moses Kuria is not welcome. Kabogo is not welcome. Even this Democratic Party of JB is not. All the Mount Kenya parties were told, finish those parties, including Kionjori, TSP.
But they are all
They were told demolish those parties and come to UDA or no deal.
So how are they in that side of
they
the
are
DP?
not. There has to be instruments.
That is not even the question,
There has to
James.
be instruments.
The question is,
no,
who is the
no.
complainant?
We are not complaining.
Who is he complaining on behalf of?
We are not complaining. We're just saying, isn't it instructive that it's okay for them to open their doors to other parties outside Mount Kenya, but they want to finish Mount Kenya homegrown parties by saying, no, you can't. We can't allow you.
But parties have to have a national feel, a national outlook.
My friend, the days when parties had a national face, parties running from Lake Victoria to Indian Ocean, or from Loitoktok to whatever. Do you know? And he was part of it. Last election, we even created parties in northern Kenya.
Who's we?
Jubilee. And he was there. He was a de facto
Is that true?
Secretary General. We created,
no,
let me tell you.
Hang on.
In fact, can I tell you what UDA is?
Yes.
UDA is that Kapati PDR, which we formed. Because all of these people were supporting Uhuru Kenyatta, but because they had those clan issues, we agreed. We created for them Kenya People's Party, we created a PDR and whatever. And all those parties, the strategy was very simple. As they are fighting and they all agreed about the top,
so there will be a coalition
they give out the vote to Uhuru.
Okay, hang on.
And he knows it. He was part of that strategy. In fact, he was the leader of the strategy team.
Okay, Kositany, is this true?
Well, I think that was the strategy for them.
You see?
The strategy was what?
For them.
To create small parties?
Yes, we actually were facing a serious balancing act with the Northern Kenya region, and we actually formed PDR, which had an agreement, a coalition agreement with Jubilee, and it saved us. It was God-sent, because when they frustrated us in Jubilee...
So PDR became
Yeah, when they frustrated us in Jubilee, and they thought we would leave Jubilee so that we lose our parliamentary seats, the deputy president loses his position, and we go into another party, we took over PDR.
And made it UDA.
And made it UDA, and joined. And they were banging tables and says, now, chase them away. They have gone to another party, and they were told, no, PDR is part of Jubilee.
It was
it came to save us.
Election coalition.
All right.
And any coalition agreement has entry and exit. We could have invoked those exit, but we didn't want to undertake a very expensive exercise to do by elections. After all, you see, politics, like I said, is not a matter of life and death. It's a game you play.
All right.
And once you are done, you shake hands.
And we move.
Life goes on. You should see these guys in parliament. They fight on the floor. They even throw water at each other. Once they come out, they are cheering each other outside
and they have
in
to
the cafeteria.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, as you demonstrated, there is a problem, political problem, that actually seeded in the Jubilee first term and the second term. And we've never to date been able to find out exactly what was the seeds of discords. I want to take a short break. When I come back, the insiders will perhaps tell us, where did the rain start beating this coalition called Jubilee, and why are we here? You're watching With All Due Respect. Don't go too far. All right, with all due respect, I'm seeing your questions, and there are many and there are plenty. The two insiders, MP Caleb Kositany and Jubilee Vice Chair David Murathe, are providing a very good insight, political insight on exactly what has happened in the last 10 years in this Jubilee sort of political hot pot of questions. Murathe, this question keeps coming up on this program every now and then. What really was this sort of single thing, if there are any, that brought this difference between the president and this deputy?
I think the president wanted to work. The president agreed with his deputy, there's time for work. And that's why he even said the other day, Jubilee did not die. Jubilee went to work. And when the time for the elections come, I will support my deputy. Now, for some reason, or due to his advisors, they told him he can start immediately. And that is very, destructive, and it distracts you from the focus. You cannot finish an election in 2017 and you start campaigning for 2022 in 2018. And I think His Excellency had conversations with the deputy president. And then he decided, okay, you want to go out campaigning? In fact, the first time he called Tanga, it was in a very light touch. And he said, huyu jamaa atakuwa akitangatanga huko, akiniletea the report of the progress of the work. Then they went overboard. And they went, you know, like every day, every Sunday, every week is campaign time for 2022. If you looked at the French election, which is 2 or 3 weeks ago, nobody even knew there was an election until the election period of 2 months or so. Kenya, you finish one election and people are in an election mode for the next 5 years.
So the problem is
the hurry. In fact, if you remember Bomas, where the president said, this is a relay. I am running with this baton. You expected to wait for me to hand it over to you to continue. But Wewe, instead of waiting for me to bring it to you, one, you want to come and get it, or number two, you are actually running in the opposite direction. You have seen that cartoon of that young boy. So I think the president decided, so look, we have an agenda to do, and fortunately, because of the handshake, we were able to carry out the government business and agenda in the House.
Okay.
Because they were blackmailing their own party, their own government. You find a situation where the deputy president, number two, who has been in that government for the last 9 years, he takes all the credit for the good things of Jubilee, but he wants to be on the side of the opposition. In fact, which is a good thing, because they are now learning how to be in the opposition.
Okay.
And I've said, nobody has ever become president in this country until they have become leader of the official opposition, like Kenyatta was, like Jaramogi was, like Moi was, Kibaki was. Even now, my friend, the deputy president, is perfect. He has really learned the ropes of being the official leader of the official opposition. And that's why the president said in Sagana, maybe after this transition, he could have mellowed, now gone through the ropes. And it's a good thing because he's now addressing the real issues of the Mamamboga and the Hustler and the Hawker. It's a perfect training ground.
Kositany, the same question. What happened between the president and the deputy?
Well, I think really nothing really happened. What actually happened is the desire by the president to have a Putin kind of arrangement, whereby he stays in power when his term has expired. And that has come to pass with the president being, is it the chair of the Zimia Council or something? And that is why, I suspect, that is why this agreement is not being availed. What we really would like to see, and I think that is why Chap and Pa are asking for this agreement, what are the powers of the chair of the Azimio coalition, of the chair of the council? What are those powers that President Uhuru has given to himself that are making him drive this agenda? David here has said that Deputy President William Ruto went and campaigned too early and all. Tell me, even now, there's been a lot of movement politically. There's been a lot of campaigns going on with the party doing their nominations and all and all. What has stopped government from working? Nothing. There's no way, no matter whether we politic from January to January, that you will stop work of government from going on.
But it's the deputy president of the Republic.
Yes, he's the deputy president who was stripped of his powers. And when he says the deputy president takes credit for the good things of Jubilee, yes, he rightfully does so for anything that he participated. You don't expect the deputy president to take credit for BBI because he was not part and parcel of it. He never participated in it. He never believed in it. He will take credit for what he participated in.
Brings me to the next question.
And James, before you even say that, yes, just the other day, last Sunday, 1st of May, the president went on record. Since William Ruto left, literally what he was saying, since I got rid of William Ruto, I have failed. Things have not been moving. The guys who came to help me, my handshake brother and the chief minister, have failed.
Without respect, that's
That's exactly what he said in other words.
I cannot stand here and let him distort.
When he said, where are you? Who was he referring to?
Okay.
James.
Murathe.
There's a guy called Delivery Unit. He's called Wakahio. I would like you to invite him here. He'll give you the scorecard.
He has an open invite to this
He'll
program.
give you a scorecard of the achievements of Jubilee between 2013 and 2017, and with a handshake, 2018 to 2022.
Which one is
I'll
better?
give you a basic, simple markets. They only did 7 markets between 2013 and 2017.
Right.
They have done 58 between 2018 and 2021.
So Jubilee,
The roads, which they talk about, they had done 7,000. All right? We are now over 11,000 kilometers of road. I've been to Eldoret last week, and he knows. That place, you can't believe it. Kisumu, you can't believe it. Mombasa, you can't believe it. It's all happened after the handshake. This power you hear, 75% penetration. By the time the Kositany, we were on a penetration of around 40, 50%. After the handshake, we are now getting into 80%. The dams, forget about the Arol and Kimarel. The dams record in this country today. We have done more dams in the second term in Kisumu, in Mount Kenya, in Ukambani, and the boreholes.
I agree. Murathe,
Let me tell you.
But still.
Call Wakahio. No,
Still.
let's agree, James Man.
It's fine.
Call the guys of delivery, because that's their job.
We'll go through the numbers.
They give you the numbers
Yes, we'll go through those
between
numbers.
2013 and 17,
But
and the
Murathe,
numbers between 2018
Kenyans
and
still
2022.
Kenyans still feel, and
Yes.
poll after poll show
Yes.
that Kenyans still feel that they don't have enough in their economy. They don't have enough in their pockets. And that is the truth. So how do you answer to that? I agree with all those numbers. Assume you're right. How do Kenyans still feel that we don't get anything?
No. There are two things you have to deal with here. Number one, it is painful. Even if you go for surgery, it is painful. But you're going for surgery so that you heal. If you look at the focus of the infrastructure development of this government, and these guys were saying they don't eat roads, for example. I saw Murkomenska the other day stuck in the mud. And there was a funny cartoon saying, these are the same guys who are saying they don't eat roads. The investment that this government has done are such that there's not enough money. The money is crowded out because the government is borrowing both locally and internationally. And when government goes in, no, they borrow for productive, not for consumption. That's the difference.
Half of
Because
this
if
money has
you
been
borrow
spent
for
anyway.
consumption, you know, the guy who did the best stimulus economic program for this country was Uhuru Kenyatta. When he was the Minister for Finance, you know that. They were all standing up, ovation, in Parliament, when he was the Minister for Finance. So if you want to actually have a consumption regime, you can. But if you want to have money to put into infrastructure, there's not enough for consumption and for, you know, people having money in their pockets.
So you make the admission then that the government has
It is an
overcrowded
expensive
money.
thing to do, but in the long term, people will be happy. Because those roads, they'll never be done again. The Deputy President was taking credit for the railway. Oh, tumejenga reli, today, I heard him saying that he is going to relook at those arrangements of doing the SGR.
Hang on. I have to get Caleb. The same question. Jubilee 2013, 2017, Jubilee 2018, 2022. Which did work? Which didn't work?
Well, I think Jubilee 2013, 2016, 2017 is the Jubilee that worked. That is when he said we did 7,000 kilometers of road. That is when the electricity connectivity program started. And that is when Kenyans felt the good feel of the infrastructure. Post-handshake, we ran into the disassociation of the Deputy President from government. And the Deputy President has said it several times, that none other than the President himself told him, I want to work differently. I want you to step aside. I want to work this because I want my legacy as Uhuru Kenyatta. And I think maybe the President felt that because the Deputy President is a person who is always on the move, he's agile, he's energetic, he's always, maybe he was crowding the space, and the President was not visible at that time. Maybe, and rightfully so. So the Deputy President stepped aside. What came in? BBI. What came in? Fuel shortages. What came in? The rising cost of food and everything. And even if it is a global problem, yes, but how have you sorted it out as the Kenyan government? How have you sorted it out?
No,
you've had even the project of Murathe and team, presidential candidate, say that this thing is all over the world. Stop making noise. Yeah, deal with it in your own way. That is not leadership. If there is a crisis, every country. Look at an example of Rwanda. When the fuel prices started misbehaving, the president of Rwanda stepped in and subsidized the prices. We get here, we have a subsidy program we passed in parliament, but we get the money is transferred to other projects, and then the common mwananchi is forced to suffer.
I want to get to this final point, because half of this money, since 2013 to 2022, the question of corruption has hung on Jubilee's head.
Exactly.
So, who stole the money, Murathe?
Look,
it's a straight question.
No,
Who has
if
been stealing money?
you
Yes.
ask me, it's out there. They're all in court. Most of these people are in court. Like I told you, Alibaba and the 40 thieves. Now, let's first put something clear here and something straight. If you're the deputy president of this government and you're here busy telling people, promising people what you'll do for them, and you're not saying why you're not doing it now, and he's saying his job was taken, I want you to play for him that interview at the BBC where he said even this Matiang'i way of doing things, he was part and parcel, and that this is a subcommittee which reports to him and the president. All right? But BBI, let me finish. BBI, when we went to Bomas, they were represented in that panel by some bishop, I can't remember his name, and the deputy president said, no problem, but there are some areas that we need to look at, and they were accommodated.
But he wasn't a driver for it.
No. They were anti-BBI because BBI was going to benefit Mount Kenya. Mount Kenya was going to get more seats. Mount Kenya was going to get more money. Today, the average per capita for Mount Kenya child is 2,000 shillings bursary, when in some places you have 100,000. This thing was about equalizing one man, one vote. The former prime minister supported it at a great cost to himself from those called marginal communities, because, look, the reason they fought it is because it was perceived to be benefiting Mount Kenya, some historical imbalance which these things ought to put. And I'll tell you something about peace and stability. All the countries around us, whether it's Ethiopia, whether it's Somalia, whether it's Sudan or South Sudan or DRC, they're in chaos. The handshake has guaranteed. So the handshake was supposed to do that? No, has guaranteed peace and stability.
I get that.
And there's nothing you can do without peace and stability.
Because
James,
who's stealing the money?
Let me just answer. Let me answer rather on something that has been said so many times, and there is a living example of it. And may the good Lord rest Honorable Kibaki's soul in eternal peace. President Kibaki was a deputy, or rather vice president, for President Moi for 12 years. We had the issues that were claimed when happened during Moi's tenure. And Moi carried the cross for that, not Kibaki. William Ruto has been Uhuru's deputy for the last 9 years. We're going into the 10th year, actually 10
not
10
true.
Years.
Co-president.
Or co-president, whatever. But the CEO of this country is President Uhuru Kenyatta.
So Uhuru
takes all the blame, the good and the bad. Uhuru will carry it. We shall judge William Ruto when he becomes the fifth president of this country.
My final question you've not answered. Who has been stealing the money?
Well, it is out there. We have.
You all say it's out there.
It is out there. I cannot name anybody because I am not an investigator. But Kenyans know who has been stealing. We have so many scandals that are happening. And we have some that are claimed to be scandals, but there's no money has been lost. We have others whereby I saw something about KEMSA. Somebody is saying now The donors are saying, no, we have lost about 17 billion that is unaccounted for, and they are asking for a relook into the books. And I think the biggest issue we have in this country is corruption. And we are going to deal with it. We are going to deal with it in the right way, not by victimization, not by politicizing it, but by dealing with it in the right way.
This will be my final thing.
Yeah, but I like that. You've never heard them talk about the fight against corruption in any of their public rallies or any of their discourses.
But they fingered you
It
before.
is not an agenda. I'm surprised, pleasantly surprised by de facto here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they've said it before, and your name has come up on this KEMSA scandal.
Actually, if I was Kantakaras, I would sue the Nation Group. Because that story, we supplied nothing. We were not offered anything. Did not invoice anything. I went to Parliament before the Parliamentary Committee. I went to EACC. I took myself. I'll tell you what happened, James Smart. And there are some people here in Nation media. You see, because their side was involved in corruption or corruption allegations, they were trying to say, fine, we are corrupt, but the other side is also corrupt. So they got us as the, what are they called, these photo boys? Poster boys for corruption, COVID billionaires.
So you...
Smart, I can tell you who supplied KEMSA, and they know them, and they are their partners. Some are their wives. All right. It's there. It's open. It's a Kenya Gazette, not it's Karesha, Puma, whatever, and they are their biggest benefactors. No, it is there. It's an open. It is in a Kenya Gazette. The EACC is supposed to publish their findings. The PIC produced a report where we were absorbed, because if you got no commitment letter, you supplied nothing. You invoice nothing, were paid nothing. But some people here in Nation Group were putting headline, all right, about COVID billionaires.
But it came from the reports.
Which report? There was no report of that nature. And I can assure you...
Final thoughts?
By the way, my final thought is, this country is bigger than all of us, all right? This contest which is coming is an event. What we are doing now as Azimio, and that is why we think that we have our facts correct, Uhuru's legacy, to leave behind a united country. He shook hands with our protagonists after the 2007. And then they say it is wrong for him to shake hands with his main protagonists after 2017 to guarantee peace and stability for this country. He wants to leave behind a united country. He wants to leave... It's like, in whose hands are we safe? In whose hands does he want to leave this country? Uhuru knows Ruto, he knows Raila. And he has told us, between these two, this one can wait. Let's go with this one.
Thank you very much. 10 seconds.
Well, I think this much lauded handshake should not be lauded and be given the credit that they are trying to give it. Because what they are actually saying, go into an election, dispute the results, cause chaos, then come for a handshake. That is not the way to go. I want to echo the words of the Deputy President at the funeral of the late President Mwai Kibaki. Let us go into this election clean. Let the losers accept results. Let the winner win gracefully, and we shall not need a handshake, and Kenya should move forward.
Thank you very much. So MP Caleb Kositany, thank you for coming.
And may the best man win.
Absolutely, Jubilee Vice Chair David Murathe. You all done very well. Thank you very much.
Please
come again and again after this election and everything else. We do this every Tuesday on this channel, the same time. My name is James Smart. Please have a lovely night.